Hello class, the purpose of this video is to cover all of the grammar points in all of the language facts of chapter 2. So here we go. The first two things I want to go over with you guys would be these two verbs, amare and tenere. I have those two forms in boxes because they are a special form called the infinitive form. So I'm going to write infinitive right above here. All right, and the infinitive form of any verb in Latin is going to be translated into English with the preposition to in front of it. So amare, that's to love. Tenere, that means to hold. Both of these verbs are found in the vocab section of your textbook, so please do make note of that. All right, so what you're going to notice about the infinitive form is you're going to have a stem vowel followed by the two letters re. So in the case of amare, this ends with the stem vowel a followed by re. So amare. Tenere has the same sort of pattern, except rather than an a, we have an e with a macron followed by re. Now, all verbs that end with are in the infinitive form are first conjugation verbs. Okay, that was not visible to you, so that's first conjugation. Okay, hopefully that's kind of legible. All right, all verbs that end with ere in the infinitive form, these are second conjugation. Why are they first and second conjugation? Let me tell you why. When you list off all of the Latin verbs, the most common type of Latin verb ends with are in the infinitive. So that's why it's first conjugation. The second most conjugation, you guessed it, ends with ere in the infinitive form with the macron over that e. So these are second conjugation verbs. We'll learn more about the distinction between those two in a bit, but for now, let's take a look at what's going on between the infinitive are or ere form and all of the rest. To figure out what's going on here, you need to see that all of these forms have slightly different endings, okay? But the beginning does match the beginning of the infinitive form. With the exception of amo, this first one, all of the rest of them have these three letters, A-M-A, which comes from here, A-M-A. In other words, what we had to do was remove this R-E to give us the stem of the verb. The stem of the verb is the part of the verb that does not change. So in order to arrive at the stem, the part that doesn't change, we're going to remove the re. Okay. To that, we are going to be adding these 6 endings. When we do that, we're indicating who is performing the action of the verb. Technically, these are present tense, so it tells us when as well, but don't worry about that for now. So let's take a look. You should know that O is the ending which indicates that I am doing the action of the verb. It's important for you to know that O does not mean I in Latin. O just indicates I as the ending of a verb, okay? That I am the one that's doing it. There is a separate Latin word for I in Latin, which is ego, as well as all of the rest of the pronouns. So don't get confused. These endings of the verbs just indicate who the verbal subject is. Let's continue. If it ends with S, that's you. T, he, she, or it. Mus is for we. Tis is for y'all, that's you plural, and nt is for they. Okay, here's a song for you. Yes, I'm going to sing for you on camera, which is like my least favorite thing to do ever, but since I love you guys, here it goes. It's catchy. Ost mus tis senti, iu he she it we all they. Remember your personal pronoun endings. That's how to conjugate verbs. One more time. Ost mus tis senti, iu he she it we all they. Remember your personal pronoun endings. That's how to conjugate verbs. There you have it. Okay, it's a really helpful tool to help you remember these endings in order and then to remember the pronouns in order so that you can start working on remembering how these endings match with subject pronouns. All right, so let's start decoding this. With the exception of amo, the rest of them do maintain the stem. Why does this one do something a little weird? I don't know. First conjugation just does this. Where the first one, it's not AMA plus O. The O gets hungry and gobbles up the A. So we get amo, and amo is the Latin way to say I love. So the way we go from amare to amo, we take off the RE and we add the O, but the O gets hungry and gobbles up the A. So amare becomes amo, and that means I love. Si alguien aquí habla español, sabes que es efectivamente lo mismo en español. Amo es como se dice yo amo. Es como se dice I love. And it is exactly the same in Spanish right here, okay? Stay with me, Spanish speakers, because you're going to see that it is almost identical for almost all of the forms. When we add S here, that means you are the one that's doing the action, right? So amas, that means you love, right? Sound familiar, Spanish speakers? It's because it's the same. All right, we'll continue. If we have amat, that's he or she or it loves. Okay, amamus, that's we love. Amatis, y'all love. And amant is they love. So for first conjugation verbs, again, we're talking about verbs that end with are in the infinitive form, the unconjugated form or unchanged form. The thing to remember is you remove the re and then you add ost, mustis, and t. Additionally to remember is this o, it gets hungry and gobbles up this a. That doesn't really happen with much of the other forms. So just remember that's particular to are verbs. What about ere verbs? With ere verbs such as tenere, which means to hold, we're going to do that same operation. What do we remove from the end of the infinitive form? How many letters? Just two. All right. So we're going to remove these two letters, re, and then we add ost, mustis, and t, and then we voila, conjugated the verb. Teneo means I hold. Tenes, you hold. Tenet, he or she or it holds. Tenemus, we hold. Tenetis, y'all hold. And tenent, they hold. All right? So the key thing here, guys, is to memorize these 6 endings as well as the corresponding pronouns in English. This is going to be the key for you to knowing how to conjugate verbs in the present tense.